What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first ever episode of the Get Happy podcast with Rudrani Devi. Super excited for this. My name is Trent Denson, host of the Spread the Positive podcast and the producer of this podcast, and really excited to kind of lay the foundation for what Rudrani is going to be bringing with this podcast. A little backstory from her and all the greatness that is to come from the Get Happy podcast. So how you feeling, Rudrani?
I'm feeling happy.
There you go. That's it, right? That's your whole brand these days, right?
Indeed it is. I'm known as the happy lady.
There you go.
So
Get Happy with Rudrani Devi, episode 1. So let's start with a little backstory. Who are you? How did you get here? And what are we about to get into?
Okay, well, that's a lot of questions.
Right.
So how did I get here? Well, it's very interesting. I have a bit of a backstory, as you know. I had been with a meditation group for about 23 years and took a trip of a lifetime to India.
Right.
And this was in 2008, and I just happened to be there right when the Mumbai terrorist attack happened.
Wow.
Yeah, they came busting into our hotel, and our restaurant was to the hotel lobby, and I got shot 3 times.
Jeez.
And just about everybody in the restaurant was killed, with the exception of 4 of the 6 of us that had gotten under my table.
Wow.
So
Still so crazy when you hear it again, yeah.
that happened about 12 years ago now, and I still feel like I'm talking about a Netflix movie.
Right? Yeah, the first time you told me, I was like, my mouth was wide open and just kind of in shock of it all. So I can only imagine all the stuff that was involved with that, all the stuff you went through, just how you kind of got to this point now. And I guess we can get into that ultimately led you to writing some books and just kind of transforming your whole life. So let's get into that.
Yeah, it was interesting. Nobody gave Trent the backstory. So when he was interviewing me, he was like in real time going, "Oh my Lord, is this really?"
Yeah.
I mean, he would say things like, I can't say anything else.
I did say that.
But it was sweet. So yeah, needless to say, I am still here. I had 2 years plus of rehab. Had to learn how to walk again.
Wow.
And, of all the people in the world that shouldn't be happy having something like that happen to them, I feel like one of the luckiest, happiest people I know.
Right.
So I thought, I've written 1 book. I wrote Soul Survivor, which was about the incident in India and how I got through it. My marriage didn't survive. My business didn't survive. The organization I was with didn't survive, and yet I survived.
There you go.
And, thrived.
Yeah.
And then the second book is called For the Love of Running, because I decided, since I was training for the Boston Marathon, which would have been my 10th marathon, and was,
Wow.
that I was training for it while I was in India, and then all of a sudden, I'm unable to run this race.
Damn.
So Adidas heard my story, and they gave me a hard luck pass, and I ended up running it, I think, 4 months after my doctor released me. And
Wow.
the thing about it was, my trainer, when I talked to him later, he goes, "I didn't think you could do it," but nobody else was supporting me. So. And it turned out that it was exactly what I required, so that I would learn not only how to walk again properly, but I had a toothpick leg and a regular size leg.
Wow.
Because my femur had been shattered. And so I, with the training, and I only trained, I think, up to 12 miles outside and maybe 17 on my treadmill. We had so much snow that year that I barely trained outdoors. And it's 26.2 miles.
Right.
So it was the least prepared I'd ever been. My worst time ever, it took me 5 hours to run it.
That's okay. I'll be the first to say that's okay, and you did it, so
But
shouts to you.
That's right, I did that, and then I did a series of half marathons after that to promote the second book.
Nice.
Then 10 years goes by, and I'm thinking, what else can I contribute? 10 years has gone by since this incident happened. What can I say for it? And I'd been part of this movement called Access Consciousness.
Right.
And I thought, Access could really use a book that is like Access 101, where basically, for those that didn't know about it, they could have something they could read with pragmatic tools. It's kind of like Access Light.
Yeah.
And, because I was always having people asking me, what is all this stuff you keep posting about Access Consciousness on your Facebook page, on IG, Instagram? and Twitter and what is all this about? And I thought, I wonder how many people get asked that question.
Right.
And could I possibly create a book that could be friendly for those people that just don't get it?
Right.
It's like if somebody asks you, what is this thing you're doing called Access? You can go, here, read this book, which station by identification. I know it's back here somewhere. Yeah, here we go.
That yellow book.
This happy little yellow book.
Yes,
right there, Choosing Happiness.
Love it.
So that came out June before last,
Right.
June before COVID. And then since then I've had it translated into 2 languages. This is Portuguese. My book also speaks Spanish. It's been a bestseller on all 3 platforms. It was a bestseller on pre-sales in English, which was kind of amazing.
That is amazing.
Because nobody knew me, and I really thought, someone's going to read this and go, choosing happiness, an uncommon way to find joy in your life. Who are you? And what makes you think that people can choose it?
Right.
Because I'm living proof.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, and so it's chock full of very pragmatic tools, and I'm just watching it have a life of its own. And so that's how I'm known as the happy lady.
There you go. Choosing happiness, and obviously we're getting into the Get Happy podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's just kind of talk about what people can expect, what the overall goals of it are, and that type of stuff.
Well, this podcast, I was thinking about how can I contribute? What is it this planet needs right now? Especially with all this COVID stuff going on and civil unrest and everything else. There don't appear to be that many happy people out there.
Mm-hmm.
And, if we could have gotten happy just by choosing it, wouldn't we have done that already, right? So I actually have several tools in this book about that, and I thought, why not a podcast where we talk about some of the different tools, and I can have different guests on, periodically.
Yep.
And we'll just get little snippets of what could work for you, because this reality is very clear that it's impossible. Your lot in life is handed to you. There's no way you could possibly choose something different, and I'm here to say, yeah, you can.
I love it. I mean, that's everything spread the positive too. So that's why the camaraderie and the synergies are so strong with a lot of things we do, and super grateful to have connected with you. And just super grateful to be a part of this process, because like you said, it's definitely needed. It's something that people are looking for, definitely something people can identify with, be inspired by. So definitely all the way in line with Spread the Positive and all the amazing stuff that you got going. So yeah, I mean, what else? I mean.
Yeah, what else is possible?
Right, that's your go-to. I mean, all your little sayings, how'd I get so lucky? What else is possible? What are the other ones?
Yeah, how does it get any better than this?
There you go. Yeah.
These are not things that I made up.
Right.
All right. I took a page from the book of Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, and Dr. Dane here.
Yep.
And they're the ones that came up with these little phrases that kind of get us out of our, cranky pants era. It's like when things are going really crappy in your life, why not, say something that can shift that for you? And, how does it get any better than this is my first go-to. And if things are going great, how does it get any better than this? Right, because don't you want it to get even better?
Right.
And, if you're kind of stuck in a place of, wow, I can't believe all this crap is going on in my life. It's like, what else is possible? What else is possible here that I've never thought of before? And the cool thing about putting out statements like that, positive statements, spreading those positive statements out.
There it is.
The universe hears you, and it's like, hey, yeah, what else is possible? And it'll fall all over itself to show you what that is. And, the subtleties start showing up. It's like the elementals out there working with quantum entanglements out there in the universe going, hey, yeah, we'll show you. And then all of a sudden there's all these choices that if you're really paying attention, how does it get any better than this is pointed out in a myriad of ways. You just got to be willing to choose it.
Right.
Choosing happiness is as simple as being willing. And then there's so much possible.
Right. That's just being open to that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what I want to share with this podcast.
Right. And you do that on a daily, that's your line of work, if you want to speak on that some too. Can you get into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm an Access Consciousness certified facilitator, in case you hadn't figured that out yet.
Right.
There's about 900 of us on the planet.
Wow.
We're in 179 countries.
That's so crazy.
And
Yeah.
It's like it started out in America when I first was introduced in Access. I think it was 2003. And America was the place, and then Australia was the second place, and now we're everywhere, right? So I teach classes. My favorite class, one-day class to teach is called Access Bars, which if you want to get your happy on, get your bars run. It's a process where you have hand placements on the head, 32 different placements,
right.
And in different groupings, they actually help discharge. This is like an electrical discharge. It's like acupressure, acupuncture, whatever you want to call it. And it discharges all these thoughts, feelings, emotions, and considerations you have about things that aren't actually yours.
Wow.
You know, we align and agree, or we resist and react to so much that if we really tapped into who we truly be, we wouldn't even have chosen those things, but we're born,
right.
And people tell us things, and we buy that story, and we buy it as ours. And what if it wasn't ours to begin with? So that first class, and I'll teach anybody. I don't care if you're a massage therapist, if you're an acupuncturist, if you're a mother, a brother, I don't know, a sister, a lover.
Anything. All right.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I run this process on my mom every time we're together, and what's so cool about it is if you run a process on somebody, especially if you're related to them or you're married to them or whatever it is, you drop also within yourself those thoughts, feelings, emotions, and considerations that you might have in common with them.
Wow.
So you get lighter, and the relationship gets lighter. And when I say lighter, I mean it gets easier. You know, you don't have all these judgments anymore, which I think, we're the worst at even judging ourselves. So as a CF, I facilitate that class. There's a foundation class that comes afterwards where bars is a prerequisite, and that's a class that basically gives you even more tools that you can find in this book, but like these tools came from foundation, and then there's so many more. So and we call it foundation because it's really about crumbling the foundation of what you have bought with this reality, and what if you could choose something different?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I'm trying to do the whole thing. We've been talking about this for a minute, but I need to make that happen in my world.
We will make it happen for you, my friend. I've got your back.
I know, literally. So that's so good, and just all of that, and being able to break those barriers down and find true happiness and what truly fuels your fire and your passions and all of those things, and diving into those versus, like you said, the resistance and buying into the stuff that hasn't worked for you.
You know, it's kind of interesting because I've been watching what's going on with our planet, and I don't feel in any way connected to it.
Right.
Because that reality doesn't make any sense to me. And the thing is what I'm trying to get across is you can create your own reality.
That's it. And we always hear that, right?
But we don't buy it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that. And even someone like me, I aim to be positive. I aim to look to find the positive in situations. And, I'm pretty aware, self-aware, and all of that stuff.
True story.
But still.
He's still cranky pants sometimes.
Yeah, you're still getting your feels and all the stuff going on these days. And like you said, it's a lot to buy into or not buy into. So I'm with you. I'm ready for this,
Well, I'm excited to go on this journey with you guys. I mean, one other class I do want to mention, because there's actually no prerequisites for it, and I'm getting ready to facilitate that class in December.
Nice.
It's kind of like a Being You class that Dr. Dane here would teach, but we call it Right Voice for You.
Nice.
Because if you step into who you truly be, the right voice that you be, without any apologies, without any definitions of what you think it's supposed to be, what if you being you is really the gift that this world has been waiting for? Your vulnerability, your story. And so that's a class I've taught a lot of intros, and I'm getting ready to teach my first full-length online and in-person class. It'll be translated into Turkish, into Portuguese, and of course we got English.
Sure.
But I'm super excited about it. It's really about pushing down the walls and barriers, being willing to be you, not being afraid, not being apologetic about it, and knowing that, hey, you know what? Your story is also a contribution. You being you is also a contribution, and there are people out there that can connect with that.
That's so good. That's
Love
gotta
it.
be the most rewarding thing ever. And literally 100% of people could benefit from that.
Oh my goddess, I feel like the luckiest person in the world. But here's the thing, Trent, they got to choose it.
Right.
If you're gonna get happy, you do have to. There is an action. It's like, okay, whatever it takes. And then start with these little steps. And that's what this podcast is going to be about, is basically giving people those tools that are very simple. You'd think they'd be hard, but they're actually a lot easier than you can imagine. So if you want to take this journey with us,
hey, jump on board. Like, subscribe, 5-star reviews. We'll be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the major podcast platforms, and man, it's just the tip of the iceberg. No telling what this could actually turn into, because the reach with access and the reach you have, and just your energy.
Super
period.
excited,
Yeah,
and there's also a Get Happy membership that I am putting together for those of you that want even more. You'll get first dibs on these podcasts. We do monthly Zooms. I'll have a private Facebook group. I'll be popping in for 10, 15 minutes weekly, and then bring a guest in once a month. Percentages off of products that I have and classes that I have and things like that. So if you're interested in that, find me on the Facebook and message me, and we will make it happen for you.
There you go. So, without further ado, the Get Happy podcast is officially birthed.
Woo-hoo!
How does that feel? You fired up?
Yes. How does it get any better?
I'm excited. Doing another episode. But
Right.
yeah, thank you, Rudrani. I'm super excited to be a part of this as well. Be sure, like I said, follow, like, subscribe, all the things. 5-star reviews are the biggest thing that can support Rudrani over this journey. So we will definitely be pushing that and getting all of the people involved with the Get Happy podcast. So thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend.